friendship could be. My little pony. Until you all shared its magic with me. Big adventure. Tons of fun. A beautiful heart, faithful and strong. Sharing kindness. It's an easy feat. And magic makes it all complete. You have mine. Did you know you're all my very best friends?
We open on a song.
Morning in Ponyville shimmer.
Get used to it, there are a lot of them in this episode. Twilight's having a good day. It's a normal day in Ponyville where everything is great and nothing ever changes.
And I know for absolute certain that everything is certainly terribly sorry, darling. I'm afraid I'm not good with the thundery ones.
Except that, Rarity has Rainbow Dash's cutie mark and is trying to control the weather.
Whatever do you mean, Twilight?
And to her, it's always been this way.
Does my sky look fabulous or what? No!
Where is Rainbow Dash? Why isn't she handling this?
Meanwhile, Rainbow Dash is living in Fluttershy's cottage and, once again, has her cutie mark and is trying to deal with Fluttershy's animals.
It's got to be my destiny, and it's what my cutie mark is telling me.
And on the other end, Fluttershy is at Sugar Cube Corner trying to make ponies laugh. Why so angry, Vinyl Scratch?
It's what my cutie mark is telling me.
Meanwhile, Pinkie Pie has AJ's cutie mark and is trying to buck apples. And going by her hair, she's very unhappy about how it's going.
'Cause it's what my cutie mark is telling me.
I like how this next part opens similarly to Rarity's Art of the Dress routine, because AJ has Rarity's cutie mark and is trying to make dresses now. And we end the song on Rarity again.
It's got to be my destiny. My destiny. Yes, it's what my cutie mark is telling me.
Now Twilight, being the only sane one left, has to figure out what's going on. It turns out that the day before, Celestia had sent her an unfinished spell by Starswirl the Bearded. That's the guy she dressed up as for Nightmare Night back in early Season 2, by the way. And Celestia has given it to Twilight to see if she can finish it.
From one to another, another to one. A mark of one's destiny singled out alone, fulfilled. I cast the spell so I could find out what it was, but nothing seemed to happen.
So apparently that's what cast the spell on the rest of the main six.
They're not who they are meant to be anymore. Their destinies are now changed.
Another song kicks in about how Twilight blames herself over a montage of her friends failing at what they think they're supposed to be doing, including the return of wet-haired Rarity. It's pretty heartbreaking, actually. Can we talk about how much Spike has grown as a character? If this happened in Season 1, he'd be mocking her right now.
And they mean more to me than anything. My friends. I've got it! I know what to do!
The plan is to remind the rest of the main six of how much they mean to each other.
They'll find the part of themselves that's been lost so they can help the friend they care about so much. Fluttershy, wait!
I'm gonna miss pointing out every instance of Bon Bon being a jerk.
Hey, Twilight.
Anyway, Fluttershy is moving back to Cloudsdale.
I can't seem to make any pony laugh.
Well, that's not how you use a whoopee cushion, for one thing.
I was wondering if you might be willing to help Rainbow Dash. She's really struggling with her animals.
I see what you're doing, Twilight.
Rainbow Dash! I'm in here! Help! I'm trapped!
Wow, that got dark. Also this chicken. So Twilight tells Fluttershy that she's the only one who can help.
Rainbow Dash needs you!
Look! Here's some nice juicy leaves for you to munch on. And some crunchy, munchy acorns, too.
Yeah, it turns out the animals were just hungry.
Goodness me, like I can understand them.
And just like that, Fluttershy's cutie mark is restored.
Oh, I'm so happy you're back to normal. Now we need your help.
And another song kicks in as they go to help the rest of the main six.
A true friend helps a friend in need.
Dash fixes the weather, and her cutie mark is restored.
But we need your help. Applejack's trying to make dresses.
Applejack is making dresses! We gotta do something! So we know where this is going at this point. Rarity shows her how to do it, realizes that's what she's meant to do, and her cutie mark is restored.
What a terrible dream I had. Or maybe I'm still having it.
And now it's AJ's turn to help Pinkie Pie and get her cutie mark restored. I wonder what Big Mac and Apple Bloom thought of all this. Were they thinking Pinkie Pie was their sister? Then again, the crowd around Fluttershy was expecting her to make them laugh, so I guess the spell affects the whole town and not just the main 6. And that just leaves Pinkie Pie, so they take her to the middle of town and let her do her thing.
Come on, ponies! I want to see you smile!
Nice reference to my favorite song from this show.
A true, true friend helps a friend in need.
And I like this one a lot too.
From a true, true friend.
Everyone is back to normal and happy, and suddenly Twilight has an epiphany. So she finishes the spell and...
From all of us together, together we are friends. With the marks of our destinies made one, there is magic without end.
that somehow activates the elements of harmony and... Oh crap, you killed her! Meanwhile, Twilight seems to be lost in a void of some kind.
Congratulations, Twilight. I knew you could do it.
Figures that Trollestia was behind it all along. Apparently, Star Swirl didn't understand friendship as well as Twilight, and that's what kept him from finishing the spell.
You have proven that you're ready, Twilight.
Ready for what?
Here comes yet another song, this one sung by Celestia, which is a first, over a montage of Twilight's accomplishments up until this point.
To see what you've been through and all the ways you've made me proud of you.
And yeah, it's pretty sweet. It really hits on how motherly Celestia is towards Twilight.
For it's time for you to fulfill your destiny.
Not to ruin the moment or anything, but Celestia's front limbs bend the wrong way constantly in this episode. It bugs the crap out of me. Twilight reappears with her new set of wings. She's also a tiny bit bigger than she was. Her legs are a little longer anyway.
You look just like a princess.
That's because she is a princess.
Welcome to the show, Princess Twilight Sparkle. Gutsy move there, show.
You've displayed the leadership of a true princess.
Anyway, she's still sort of Celestia's student, but she won't be reporting to her every week.
You are an inspiration to us all, Twilight.
Seriously, animators, what are you trying to do to me?
What do I do now? Is there a book about being a princess I should read?
Classic Twilight. Later, she has a coronation and everything. No bad comedy here, though, except maybe those dresses.
Twilight Sparkle has done many extraordinary things since she's lived in Ponyville.
And of course, her parents are there. Aww.
Fillies and gentle colts, may I present for the very first time, Princess Twilight Sparkle.
Speech, speech!
I can honestly say, I wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for the friendships I've made with all of you. I consider myself the luckiest pony in Equestria. Thank you, friends. Thank you, every pony.
And of course, Shining Armor is there too.
Are you crying?
Of course not. It's liquid pride.
No, he's such a sweetie.
We love you, Twilight.
I love you too, girls.
And now for a reprise of the song from the beginning.
Life in Equestria shimmers. Life in Equestria shines.
Yes, everything's gonna be just fine.
And so ends Magical Mystery Cure. So this is kind of a weird episode that I wasn't sure I liked when I first saw it. For the record, I don't care that they made Twilight a princess. I mean, I was surprised that it happened this early in the show. I figured it would be something to save for the series finale or something. But I was willing to give it a chance and see where they went with it. Characters need to grow and change, get over it. The thing that got me at first was that there were so many songs. Great songs, mind you, but still. The whole thing felt like a series of montages to me, and I felt like the story kinda went very fast. Like, maybe this should have been an hour-long episode. The first half in particular with the Cutie Mark spell seems like that gets resolved very quickly. Again, this is what I thought on my first viewing. Then I read the episode follow-up on Equestria Daily. I actually do that every time I watch an episode. I don't always agree with them, but their opinions are usually pretty reasonable, and sometimes it helps me see things from a different perspective or pick up on things I missed while watching it the first time. Then I watched the episode again and basically changed my mind on all of that. Rather than thinking of this episode as standalone, it could be seen as putting a cap on the first 3 seasons. Obviously, this would not be a good first episode for anyone to watch. It's meant for those who have been watching from the beginning and seeing Twilight learn and grow. And all of Season 3 in particular was leading up to some kind of promotion for Twilight. From Celestia testing her with having her save the Crystal Empire, and of course the knowing looks that she and Luna give each other at the end, to Cadence showing Twilight how to keep calm under pressure in games ponies play, and even the line Twilight says at the end about being a good leader. No matter what some fans might say, Twilight becoming a princess really did not come out of nowhere. Also, the creators pointed out that this episode was kind of meant to be seen as the first part of a trilogy which would be completed with Princess Twilight Sparkle Parts 1 and 2 of Season 4, but I will not be covering those anytime soon. As for the first half of this episode, even though there are some great moments, and I like the little friendship lesson they get out of it, it's basically an intentional red herring. You think it's going to be the focus of the episode, but it's really about Twilight, and the episode changes gears in the middle to reflect that. So yeah, while it took a little while for me to warm up to this episode, and I do think they picked an odd way to cover the subject of Twilight becoming a princess, I am totally fine with it. It's a fun episode with a lot of great music. The creators made a gutsy move by changing a character's status instead of just keeping the status quo like a lot of kids shows would. Granted, it may have been Hasbro's decision to make Twilight a princess so they could sell a new toy, but so what? The entire show exists to sell toys. The great thing about this show is that most of the time it doesn't feel like a 30-minute toy commercial. Sure, there's the occasional thing you could point to, like them all becoming crystal ponies or breezies for a few minutes and for no particular reason, but Twilight becoming a princess, or something similar at least, could be traced back to the beginning of the show, so it really comes across like it was planned all along. As for the argument some fans like to make about Twilight being immortal now and will outlive her friends, and why isn't this show aimed at 6-year-olds not addressing mortality? Funny, I don't remember the show ever mentioning that alicorns are immortal. It's implied that Celestia and Luna are immortal, but they have never said that that applies to all alicorns. In fact, one of the creators specifically addressed this on social media. Twilight will not outlive her friends. So that's it for my last video about a regular episode, at least for the foreseeable future. Thanks for watching. Next up is Equestria Girls. See you then.